everyone. What's going on? How you guys doing? And welcome to the third episode of Positivity Bias, where we talk about different stories to reframe our experiences during these turbulent times. My name is Rabbi Eliezer Hershkowitz. This is my wife Rivki. Together we run Chabad Cares, an organization where we believe in connecting people to each other, to their heritage. Today we're going to be talking about developing a good eye. So, not an easy thing, but something which, if and when we do it, tremendous blessings. There was this guy, a rabbi, who just got hired to be, just got hired by a community, and someone had passed away, and so he says, it was his job to officiate at the funeral, but he didn't really know the individual because he had just gotten hired as the rabbi. So comes the day of the funeral, and the whole congregation assembles, and he says, anybody has something to share? Anyone has something positive to share about the deceased? Please come up. And silence. So he's like, I don't know what to do, whatever, it's getting awkward there. Anybody, something positive, please. And again, silence. After about a minute, one guy shouts out and says, his brother was worse. So anyways, developing a good eye. The Mishnah of Pirkei Avot and the Ethics of Our Fathers, tractate of the Talmud. There's a rabbi there, one of the sages, his name was Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, and what he did is he once asked his students to go into the world and discover the best advice for living a righteous and fulfilling life. So the students come back, and there was one of his students, Rabbi Eliezer ben Horkanus, returned. I shared the name with him. He came back from his travels, and he said, I have searched, and I have found that the best advice is to develop an ayin tov, a good eye. When your eye, which is your lens on life, is good, what you will see will likely be good. As the saying goes, what we see depends on what we look for. So there's a great story with the Lubavitcher Rebbe that brings a powerful example to illustrate this point of what you see depends on what you're looking for. Rivki, share that story with us if you don't mind, please.
Okay, so one time a gentleman from a nearby Hasidic community, so not the Chabad community, he came to the Rebbe, the Lubavitcher Rebbe. He had a personal matter to discuss with him to get a blessing. So after asking for his blessing for whatever he needed, he said to the Rebbe, I have a question. In the Talmud, it says that even the sinners of Israel are full of good deeds, just like a pomegranate is full of seeds. So he said, I don't understand. If someone is a sinner of Israel, how can they be full of good deeds? What does that mean? So the Rebbe was quiet, and he closed his eyes, and he began to cry, and he said, I also have a question on that passage. He said, if the Jew we are speaking about is truly full of good deeds, then how can he be called a sinner of Israel? So this is like the same, two people looking at the same few sentences and coming out with completely different explanations, completely different questions, completely different views on the same
words. They're
word.
reading the same words and have a total different take on it because it's about what you're looking for. Amazing.
Right. The Rebbe really exemplified what a good eye means. So now there was something interesting on the Humans of New York Facebook page.
I still don't know.
I think so.
I haven't. I don't really see that. I follow them, but I don't get to see the post too much. But they were really popular at the time, right?
Right. So basically, this was like a picture of two people sitting on a bench, and the caption said, "We're eye doctors." And what's something that most people don't realize is that the eye doesn't see, the brain sees. Basically, what we see is affected by our feelings, our emotions, our past experiences. It's affected by our lens, by our bias. What we see, even like doctors say that, what we see is affected by us.
It's our brain.
By
It's
our
not
brain.
So that's why, right? So basically, because we see with our brains, and it's just the eye that's the lens of it. You want to live a good life? Put on a good pair of glasses. Put on a good pair of glasses, and the best pair of glasses is to be able to see the God and the good in everything. That's very challenging. And I would say, interestingly enough, I would say that for neutral people or in neutral situations, it isn't that difficult to see the good and the God in everything.
Right.
But it's when the going gets tough, when there's a challenge, when we're confronted with a challenge, and the challenges could be big or small. The obstacles could be big or small, but that's when it really hits. Like, where's not your eyes going, where's your mind going? Our mind should go right away to God. He is the one who's in control of the world. There's nothing that happens by accident. There is no mistakes. There is no coincidences. Everything's happening for a reason. Solidifying and internalizing our faith in Hashem and our faith in humankind, seeing that they're more than just a body, but there's a soul there in the people, will reframe the way that we see everything. In other words, cultivating, we do have, it's the way God creates us is that we have a bias, that our minds go somewhere. And the thing is, we have to change that. Instead of our minds going to the bad and the scary, like I said, when we talked about this, I think, about in the previous week, that's naturally where we go to, because otherwise it would be dangerous. But we have to cultivate a nice balance, a healthy balance, where like we're also, there's a good, there's a positivity. And there's this great verse in Tehillim, which I love. It says, the one who trusts in Hashem will be surrounded by grace, will be surrounded by kindness. And I was thinking about it, does that mean that they have everything good in life? No. Not that they have everything good in life. But everything it's all good. It's all good. It doesn't matter what's happening to them in their lifetime. They have a trust in something which is higher than them, higher than the situation, higher than everything that's going around them. So therefore, it's all good. I remember as a young child, I was driving carpool. I'm not driving, I was in the carpool, and the person driving the car got into a fender bender. It was a fender bender. They didn't, they didn't stop in time. Everyone was fine, but the car, the hood just smashed up right in front of us. And this man was, the guy driving the car, he embodied, this faith in Hashem. He says, oops, no mistake, an accident. You guys should probably, he pulled over to the side of the road. He made arrangements for us to get to school. But he was totally cool. He was totally cool. His car just got smashed. He was totally cool. Why? Because when you're believing in something, when your belief in Hashem, when your brain is so connected with Hashem, so connected that there's something higher and above all, you're able to keep it cool, and you're able to see things in a different light. You're able to see things in a positive light. Just like, and the Rebbe was that real, that ultimate example of having that positivity bias, seeing the good in God and the good in people, and therefore I see the good in people. It says there that the sinners of Israel, are full of mitzvahs like a pomegranate. How could they be sinners? That's what doesn't make sense to them. That's where the question is.
Right, not the other way around.
Good, seeing the God and the good in everything. And there's another powerful story that we have this week about a photographer who had an exhibit, right? That something very interesting, where it's a great example where you see that the Rebbe sees the good Well, just say, share the
Well,
story.
this is showing
Share
not
the
only
story,
not only the Rebbe's positive outlook on situations and changing our bias to see the positive in situations like the car accident story, but also in people.
Right.
Because it's very easy to feel a positive feel a positivity about someone who's a nice person or even a neutral person. What about someone who says or does something negative to you?
Right. Yeah.
So this is
How can you see that, and how can you develop a good eye for that?
So, of course, the Rebbe. We have a great story from the Rebbe. So, there was a photographer who, for 2 decades, was photographing 770, which is the Rebbe Shul and all the Hasidim.
Yes, Chabad World Headquarters. Yeah.
All the Hasidim, and in 1976, he held an exhibit called 770. At the Tel Aviv Journalist Center and then at Bar Ilan University. So he was getting, people were coming, lots of Jews were coming, and this was their first opportunity to see the Rebbe and the Hasidim, and he was getting a lot of positive feedback. There was one particular journalist who he had a guest book, he wrote in the guest book, with all due respect, the photography is fantastic, but you have the subject of your photos is very clerical, and it takes us back to the primitive darkness of the Middle Ages.
Mm-hmm.
So later, when this photographer came to the States and he was able to meet with the Rebbe, he showed the Rebbe the guest book, and the Rebbe was going through it, and pretty quickly the Rebbe saw the negative comment. So the Rebbe said, please compliment the journalist on his strength of character. Everybody's writing all these good comments. It takes a lot of character to write something different. And besides that, tell him that not everything in the Middle Ages was dark.
Right.
So
amazing story. Because you see little things over here that the Rebbe finds a way to put a positive spin on the negative reporter and on the Middle Ages comment, which, by the way, they were not very good for our people.
right.
Saying that not everything was bad. So. I think that these are two great examples, two stories of great examples that we could take a lesson from. Looking at people looking the positive in people, looking at their souls, at their neshamas, and at their potential. So when we look at somebody's, even somebody who's not the nicest to us or not the most friendly to us, seeing what their potential is. So the Rebbe saw this person, look, this person has potential because he's got a strength of character. That could go very far in life.
Right.
Used in the right way, punished for the right things. And then seeing that, finding the God in it. The Middle Ages, it was pretty bad for our people. It wasn't all bad. So that's I think the bottom line is something for us to work on during these times. You want to come on the video?
Hi.
Come say hi. We got a guest here.
Say hello.
Develop the good eye. You want to say hi? This is our daughter Malka. She just had her birthday. So yeah, developing the good eye. Develop it. And something that we were talking about another week. So it's also step by step. Judaism teaches it's not all or nothing. So in a little bit, think, solidify trust and faith in God is what's going. You want to sit on my lap? Something that's going to help us. Something that's going to help us develop that good eye is seeing about something higher, something which is higher than us, higher than the situation, which is Hashem. And that's what's going to help us to develop that good eye. Well, so good luck to everybody.
Yes.
To ourselves as well, because I know this is something this is very challenging for me, but it's something that I do try to work on. Developing that good eye is going to bring blessings up in so many ways, and especially for these times. Because when we don't have a good eye, honestly, can't think straight. Can't do anything. So you're just counterproductive.
Right.
So that's what it is. That's the bottom line. You want to be productive, sheltering in place, staying socially distant, economy shut down. You want to be producing something. You want to be realizing your potential. Very simple. Develop the good eye. Zagras with everybody. Take care, and we'll see you all next week for another episode of Positivity Bias. Thank you for joining. Bye.